Hi, everybody. This is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny, hopefully corona-free Colorado. Anyway, I have a very brief update I wanted to do for you guys, just a few minutes. You may have noticed that we released today the first of our monthly series on product updates. It's called Cardano Development Monthly Update. It's on our YouTube channel, and it's also on my Twitter feed. So if you guys just go to the prior tweet, you can find it. Basically, the point of these updates are for each of the people who are in a product management role doing directly work on Cardano to provide a window into what's going on that month, what they're doing, the point of their project, and so forth. It's also a two-way communication mechanism where effectively it's like a community AMA. So hopefully the next month we should be able to do a live version of the update or something akin to that, or at the very least be able to solicit questions and answer those questions in addition to doing a community broadcast. So I'd highly recommend that you guys start watching those. They're going to get deeper and more time is going to be spent, and you're going to just meet lots of people in the product team. As I've repeatedly mentioned, that Cardano is an iceberg. There's tons of stuff going on underneath the surface, very delicate stuff, very interesting stuff. And oftentimes that doesn't get broadcast to the community. So it's super, super important that we start building a single source of truth and a single big broadcast for that. So please do watch this. Please do participate. Please start asking questions. And of course, start asking for changes or giving advice. We're always looking for that ideal format, but it's a good opportunity to get to know each of our product team. Second, I will be in London next week for the PwC workshop that we're doing with the Cardano Foundation and Emergo to align all of our commercial strategies in anticipation for the launch of Shelley. That said, it looks like we're starting to cancel some of our events. We were planning on a meetup group, and I was also planning on a tour of Africa. We've decided to move that tour of Africa tentatively to May, principally because of travel restrictions and the spread of corona. We're right now globally at a tipping point where in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to either determine whether corona is a global pandemic, which will likely spread to millions of people and cause major disruptions, or like SARS outbreak in 2003, it'll eventually get contained, burn itself out, and become not too big of a concern. There's a variety of opinions on this, from what the WHO is saying, to the CDC is saying, to what the White House is saying, to other public health organizations. And unfortunately, it looks like we will not have a vaccine available for SARS-CoV-2. And so as a consequence, that basically means that containment is the only way to prevent spread. And it remains to be seen if containment is possible. Unfortunately, because of the long incubation period and because of the lack of infrastructure in places in Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia, there's a very strong possibility that SARS will gain a foothold in these places and remain in circulation until flu season next year, 2021. The good news is we'll have vaccinations available by then, but the bad news is that this will cause considerable supply chain travel and other disruptions for those traveling to those jurisdictions. So as much as I love traveling to those places, it would be very problematic for me to do so at the moment. So I'm going to move the Africa trip tentatively from March to May. I'm going to a conference in South Africa that Tumelo Ramaphosa is putting on. He's a very good friend. And my hope is that I should be able to go and visit all the other places that we were planning: Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and Ethiopia. And given extra time, I believe we can even get more out of that trip and do more interesting things. But as now it stands, unfortunately, I won't be able to spend March doing that. So I'll come back to warm, sunny Colorado, and we'll just keep chipping away at what we're doing. We have a lot of cool things in the pipeline. It looks like the Byron reboot is indeed going to come out this upcoming month. It's the most significant update to you, the consumer, in the history of Cardano. Completely new code. We've decircleized everything, and we might even have a new address format. I think we'll have BEC32 with that, or shortly thereafter. And the product team will hopefully be able to make an announcement soon about the first Haskell Shelley testnet for migration purposes to help people redeploy their infrastructure. The incentivized testnet likely will reach end of life, meaning we'll stop issuing patches and updates to it at the end of March, and we'll keep it online until the Shelley mainnet launches. but end of life is likely coming at the end of next month, because that team's going to be moved on to the next big thing for Cardano. So a lot of great news. Those product development updates are where you're going to start hearing the news, less from me, more from the product team. And a lot of releases coming out this month. We'll continue with the weekly release cadence of Jormungandr. So every Wednesday you'll get an update there. And then what we're getting used to is the following Monday to do an update to Daedalus and the wallet backend. We're still on a weekly release cycle for the wallet backend, and lots of goodies coming. We'll make an announcement of the vendor we've chosen for the Ledger update to bring cold staking and multi-sig to the Ledger. And as you can see, there's a lot of things happening on the Daedalus side as well. So look for all those things coming out pretty much every week now. We're also starting two big initiatives. One is to create a single source of truth for all of the web assets for Cardano. So there's only one place you have to go for everything. And we're working very closely with the Cardano Foundation for that. It'll likely be the either Cardano Hub or Cardano.org page. And then we're also trying to redo all of the Cardano documentation anticipated for the launch of Shelley. So that documentation has been elevated to be a first-class citizen along with everything else, and dedicated development time is being put to it to make sure that the documentation is comprehensive and accurate. So Cardano Docs is badly out of date, and it really needs a lot of tender love and care. So we're certainly working on that. And it's definitely going to take quite a bit of time to get all that done. So it'll be a few months before it's finished. That said, once it's finished, we feel it'll be the best documentation in the space, and it'll be quite commensurate with what we've accomplished with the code side. So this is our brief update. Again, I'd highly, highly recommend you guys have a chance to watch the Cardano Development Monthly Update on our channel. I think it's only about 18 minutes long, so not a huge amount of time, but they are going to get a lot longer. It wouldn't surprise me if they start converging to about an hour. The release cadence will be every month, and the principal people involved will be the product team. So each product manager. IOHK also just recently brought on its first CTO. I served a dual role as CEO and CTO for quite some time. I decided to separate it out because we're getting so busy and we have so much stuff. So he'll probably start integrating into these presentations after he's had a chance to get his feet wet. Lovely French man named Roman. Who we really like, and he has done some great work throughout his career. And we're, of course, increasing our capacity to deliver more interesting things to market. We're also having a lot of fun talking about sources of funding for community-driven efforts and projects. I've requested that the foundation start publicly talking about its grant strategy for 2020. And we've also started identifying what we feel is commercially critical Cardano infrastructure. So that's infrastructure within the Cardano ecosystem that is critical for us to compete with not only existing cryptocurrencies, but the ones coming on market later, as well as centralized or permissioned offerings. And so we'll make a statement a little bit later about the CCCI, the commercially critical Cardano infrastructure, and what we feel is in that category, and how we're rolling these things out. Take a little while to get that in a place where we'd like to talk about it, but it's certainly part of that iceberg that we're doing things with. So brief update for those of you affected by coronavirus, hang in there. I know how terrifying and scary these things can be, and hopefully it ends up like SARS in 2003 and burns itself out, or like the Ebola epidemic in Africa not too long ago. But there is certainly a chance that it could become a global pandemic, and there are many who believe it's headed in that direction. So there are some great resources if you want to follow what's going on a day-to-day basis. Dr. John Campbell has a YouTube channel, and he does a daily update on the COVID-19 issues. And then also the WHO and the CDC both have dedicated websites specifically for coronavirus that are updated daily and have a lot of timely information. That's quite good. So we're going to be a little bit more careful on our end about travel, and I'll be traveling less over the next few months than I normally travel, just to see what direction things are going. And I hope that by the middle part of this year, it's a bad memory. If not, of course, we still are going to show up to work, and being a decentralized company in 20 countries and most of our people working at home, it actually means that a pandemic would not substantially disrupt IOHK operations. So until next time, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in London.